Thank you, Governor, for being here.
Joe, thank you. Thanks very much. Hey, thank you all. At ease. Thanks very, very much. It's good to see my Maryland friends here who knew how to get up early in the morning to be here on time. My goodness, I woke up early in the morning, but the traffic was miserable. Somebody better do something about that. It's right. I can assure you, though, there was no Chris Christie challenges with regard to the traffic. In Maryland, we punish no mayors, we close no bridges. We like mayors. It's great to be with all of you. I apologize for my lateness. I understand you heard from Debbie Wasserman Schultz a little earlier, so let me begin with one of my favorite stories, which only in front of a crowd of people that actually do the hard and important work of your towns and your cities and your municipalities can I share. There was this great hunting dog on the eastern shore of Maryland, and his name was Mare. And Mare was the fastest, hardest working hunting dog that ever worked on the eastern shore. At goose season, soon neither love nor money could rent this fabled hunting dog called Mare. The lines were too big, the dollar was too high, and people who saw Mare on his ascendancy and had the good fortune to rent Mare on a hunting trip thought on a lark, well, maybe we'll just see if somebody canceled and we can get Mare this weekend. So they asked the owner of the kennel, any chance somebody canceled and we might actually get that fabled, hard-working hunting dog called Mare. And the owner of the kennel said, sure, you can have the dog, $2 all weekend. He said, what happened? He said, some jerk called him governor and he's been doing nothing but sitting on his ass and barking ever since. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. Take care of your bartenders and waitresses. Joe said in his kind introduction that being mayor was the pinnacle of my career in public service. And in a way, I truly believe that, and it was. I never felt more engaged. I never felt more needed. I never felt closer to the people that I served. And I never felt on a daily basis like I was making a bigger difference than when I served as mayor of Baltimore. You see, when I was elected, our city had become the most addicted, violent, and abandoned city in America. And the biggest enemy that we had was not even the drug dealers or the crack cocaine. It was a sense of disbelief that gripped our city. That sense that there wasn't anything we could do about anything and there was no use in even trying because all the smart people knew there was no way we could really do anything about it. And in some way or another, each of you has had to confront that enemy within in your own towns and your own cities. But you have also probably discovered what I discovered as mayor of Baltimore, and that is that there is a deep reservoir of courage, of goodwill, and yes, of love that exists in every single block of your town or your city. It is a pride of place, and it is a love of neighbor that makes our cities the dynamic places that all of you know and that you serve and that you love. I firmly believe that our country's future and our greatest potential is found in our cities. But our cities are also the places where we have to overcome some of the biggest hurdles and the biggest barriers. And we won't overcome those things by doing less about them. We won't overcome those challenges by investing less. We're going to tap the potential in America's cities, and we're going to tap the potential in America only by doing more. For all of the rage that has been this sort of Tea Party craze across our nation and what they've now done to the once proud party of Lincoln, the fact remains, the truth remains that as our parents and grandparents understood it, that the more we do for our community, call it a city, call it a state, call it a country, the more our community, our city, our country gives back to us and to our children and to our grandchildren. There's a movement all around the world right now where cities are actually filling up. More and more people want to live in cities. And you've seen it yourselves. It's remarkable what happens when you make your city cleaner, safer, healthier, better place for kids to grow up. People actually do want to live there. They want to do business there. They want to build their business there. And what I see happening in our country right now is that cities are actually leading the charge, not only for a new era of American progress, but for a better way of governing. What do I mean by that? I mean a way of governing that is not like the old way that was hierarchical, bureaucratic, very process-oriented. It is a new way that is collaborative. It is open, it is transparent, and it is relentlessly performance measured every single day. You know, when I was mayor, I never had to explain to someone whether what we were doing was working or not. They could see it. Either the streets were cleaner or they were dirtier. Either there were 20 guys on my grandmother's corner where there used to be 2 slinging drugs, or there were 2 where there used to be 20. Either they come to respond to the requests about illegal dumping in the alley, or they don't. When you're governor, you spend an inordinate amount of time trying to explain to people why you're doing what you're doing and whether or not it's even working. So this has given us an opportunity, given you an opportunity in cities with new technology like GIS and performance measurement, and putting 311 on the front end, as most large cities have found is the best way to go, so that we can measure performance, so that every citizen gets a customer service number, regardless of whether they live in a neighborhood that's rich or poor or black or white or Democratic or Republican. And you've seen that when you actually make your city work, it gives people a sense of confidence that things are about to get better. And it is that belief that drives action, and that action that drives greater results. And it's that way of governing that we need right now in our states. So once a mayor, always a mayor. And as governor, I have done my very best to govern as a mayor. We have 16 strategic goals. First and foremost of which, of course, is job creation. Without jobs, there is no progress. But the other goals, and the difference between a goal and a dream is a deadline. All of the goals have deadlines, and there's 16 strategic goals. You can find them on our website, and you don't have to be a mayor or a Democratic elected official to access that website. It's there for every citizen to see whether we're moving forward or whether we're slipping back and improving the skills of our people, whether we're moving forward or slipping back and improving the security of our people, whether we're moving forward towards our goal of creating a more sustainable way of life in our state that hugs that beautiful but fragile estuary of the Chesapeake Bay, or whether we're slipping back, and whether we're moving forward or whether we're slipping back in terms of the health of our people. This is the way that we need to govern if we're going to renew our country. Because not unlike Baltimore in 1999, our country's great. Our country is gripped right now with this sense of disbelief, isn't it? Sense that nothing happens in Washington. It can happen in Washington. Everything's gridlocked. And it's hard to work around that when your primary representative institution, the House of Representatives, is no longer acting in a very representative way. We have now cut non-defense discretionary spending as a country virtually in half. As a percentage of GDP, we've gone from about 4%, and now we're headed down to 2%. And within that is CDBG, your Homeland Security block grant dollars, remember those? Not to mention other important things that happen in cities. I remember once when we were such a great nation, we could do things like Hope 6. Made a huge difference. Now the idea of innovation in public housing is when they give us more flexibility to sell off public housing assets to pay for the operations. What the hell does that say about our country? We're better than that. So I know you have other things to do today, but I leave you with this final thought, and that is that if we're going to tap the great potential that exists in our cities, then we're going to have to do more on CDBG and not less. We're going to have to do more in terms of investing in the sort of technologies that help us not only guard against the terror threat, but also help us do a better job of locking up the bad guys so life is more livable in our towns and cities. And we're going to have to do more, not less, when it comes to giving people decent housing, when it comes to integrating our neighborhoods, not only racially, but also economically, so people realize that they actually have a clear path to success. If they work hard, they can get ahead. They might start on the first rung of that ladder towards economic independence, but by God, there are other rungs within reach. And that's what people find in America's cities. Cities are where our greatest potential lies as a nation. And leadership is so very, very important for making that potential real. But so is one other thing. The notion of community, the notion that we're all in this together, that we do better when we're all doing a little better, and that we're all in this together, in our towns, in our cities, in all those places close to home, where little kids grow up and parents can look in their eyes and realize that they can enjoy a better future than I've enjoyed. Thank you all very, very much.